Back here at the Museum of Aviation, Warner Robins. Today working on recovering a elevator for the HU-16 Albatross. This is the left-hand elevator, and putting on Seconite fabric on this one. Seconite is a relatively new material compared to the Albatross, which back in the day would have used only grade A cotton for the covering. But Seconite is a heat shrinkable polyester plastic, and it's a lot easier to use. So I'm going to show you a little bit of what I'm doing here. I'm using the what's called the blanket method to install fabric on this about 12-foot plus long elevator. And I'll just show you how we're doing it for display here. Keep in mind that what I'm going to show you on this thing is only for display. I'm taking some shortcuts. We don't quite have 100% of everything that we might need. All right, well, we basically got the trailing edge all connected here, glued down, a little bit loose here, but that's okay. And the next step we're going to do is to do the initial tightening of the fabric. And that'll be done with an iron at about 225 degrees Fahrenheit. This is a wire that we use to secure the fabric to the structure, to the ribs of this flight control surface. So there's a whole bunch of them on a roll here. You can see they're pretty widely spaced, about 3.5, 4 inches apart. What I do is cut them, retweak them a little bit, and then space them out into holes into the fabric of this elevator about every 3 inches or so. You can see there's one here, there's one here, there's one here. And then over the top of that, once I punch a hole through here and pick up the rib, I put this, once the wires are in, I put this reinforcing tape over the top. And then, as you can see, I've drawn some lines here on the fabric. Hopefully you can see that to help me guide this finishing tape. And this is the finishing tape. It's just Seconite that's been pinked all along the edges, and I've secured it up here on every one of these with some. Okay, well, as you can see, I've glued down all of the finishing tape over the ribs, and it's pretty well dry. The next step I have to do is use a wider, 3-inch wide, this is 1.5 inches, a 3-inch wide finishing tape here on the on this edge to lock down the fronts of all of these finishing. And now the final piece is a long one that goes over the seam between this panel and this panel, and also between this panel and this panel. So I'm lining them up to tack them in place and then start gluing them down. And after that, I will put on the trailing edge, reinforcing tape, and do the ends. And it's basically some final shrinking, and it's ready to. All right, well, we're getting down to the end here, where I've got to do literally the end of the elevator. I'm going to put a patch here, you know, a bunch of fabric to cover those holes, and then a piece of fabric here. And I'm going to do that with my glue, as usual. Okay, now that these end pieces are on, they're not shrunk down yet. I've got a piece of finishing tape, which I've put a light crease down the middle so that I know where the center line is. And I will be gluing that down here to finish this edge. Okay, most of the glue is hardened up here, but we've got to iron now to get these lumps and bumps out and get things shrunk up here a little bit. Get things nice and flat. So I got about a 225-degree iron, and we'll shrink this stuff up and get everything stuck down really well. This is the right-hand elevator. I've already done this component. This elevator, covered it with the seconite, shrunk it up. You can see here just how tight that is. Sitting up here, basically done, ready for paint.